Fruits of Sherbrooke is a dedicated group of volunteers who rescue fruit. By rescue, I mean we pick fruit that grows in people's backyards, and they are either can't pick it themselves or they're not going to be able to use it. The basic idea behind Fruits of Sherbrooke started with Carol and Christina walking through the back alleys in Sherbrooke here and finding bags of rotting apples and other fruit just going to waste. Christina finally said, we should do something about this. So they started picking up apples, and that started the process. I was the third person in when they needed some help with certain things. That's where we started. But this is a big town and there's lots and lots of apples in it.
Our biggest mission is to rescue food waste and prevent that from going to the landfill, and then also to feed our community. We see a variety of people either struggling with having access to fresh fruit, fresh produce. The ability to get locally sourced items is really important, and also just being in tune with how much waste we throw out that actually isn't waste. It's something that can be used. We just need to find someone who can use it. It's silly that stuff like this goes to waste.
We also support the food bank, the Boyle Street Community League, and various other places that have need for that. People phone us and say, I've got such and such a tree, it's ready for picking, can you come and pick it? Then our rescue coordinator looks at that, pairs it up with our volunteers who are doing picking, and arranges a route around town for a number of picks, because it's usually more than one in a day.
Some trees, like some mature apple trees, are enormous and they take many hours, many volunteers. Some picks are small, like a rhubarb plant or raspberry bushes, that type of thing.
When the fruit comes back in from the pick, we have to record it because we have to know where it came from. It's then weighed, cleaned, and depending on what it's going to be used for, it's either taken straight to the kitchen for cooking, it may be chopped and frozen, or it may go into the kitchen to be turned into juice.
To offset some costs for the nonprofit, we started making jams and jellies and sauces and selling those at farmers markets. They're gourmet jellies. They're not your regular raspberry jams. They're raspberry and rhubarb or jalapeno, lime. We have a really popular ketchup. We get people buying it by the box, 5 or 6 at a time. People can purchase the products on our website, and we have all of our selection there. I think my favorite Fruits of Sherbrooke product is the savory jam. So we have a really tasty 4-pepper jam, and the caramelized onions are really good too on grilled cheese sandwiches.
I have one that was made for me by Carol, Crimson Marmalade with Irish whiskey. It's a lovely way to wake up in the morning.
Some of the other programs that Fruits of Sherbrooke runs are things like jam making workshops. So we would teach kind of the basics, and we have access to a commercial kitchen, so we're able to kind of spread out and make sure that everybody gets hands-on experience.
Teaching people the process of making jam is important, because if you know how to make jam, you're more likely to go out and pick some fruit and make some jam. I would like to encourage people to join us and volunteer to help make this a much bigger organization.
At this time, we need help picking the fruit. There's always more fruit to pick than there are people who can pick it, always, every year. So if you like being outdoors, you want to volunteer, you want to get some sweat equity into something that, you know, serves your community, but also kind of just a fun thing, it's really good to volunteer. You know, you can make this cool product out of something that's from your neighbor's yard or from your community. People are excited once they hear that the fruit that is in the jam came from Edmonton.
There are people in this town going hungry. We have kids going to school without having had breakfast. And we think that's a very good use for fruit that is collected here in town.